What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Shifting Gears. You're now on part 3 of 4 for this Horde discussion. The previous parts are linked below, or if you'd rather, I'll have the full 2-hour conversation posted later this week. Also, don't forget that I'll have my personal opinions typed out in a document linked below. Alright, so the one last thing on skill cards I wanted to bring up is the possibility of, so we talked about leveling up skill cards based on using them, but say that's not a thing. What about introducing a legendary skill card that's kind of like a combo card? So, using explosive launcher damage and explosive launcher capacity. Maybe you have a legendary card that has both of those together as a single card. But, okay, so now you're getting 2 perks in only 1 card slot. So maybe they aren't as powerful. So instead of 100% explosive damage and 100% more ammo, you now get 80% more damage and 80% more ammo. So it's not as powerful, but it's only taking up 1 card slot and you're getting 2 perks.
So basically, what you're saying is we've still got the 5 card slots, but we can equip multiple into one. So you could, potentially you've got 10 cards on
but they're not as powerful, and they're like predefined. It's you get this legendary explosive card, and that has like explosive capacity and explosive damage at 80%.
I can see that. It's really it's hitting home with like when I used to play a lot of MMOs and stuff. Like you get these legendary abilities that do like a lot of a few things, all in one card. That could make for some interesting meta on like what legendaries you apply. The question then would be like, all right, can you just equip 1 legendary, or can I go like I'm gonna go all 5 legendaries and everything's gonna be like subpar? But dude, look at how many abilities I got.
Right, because I mean, you could have things like cost, where it's here's deposit bonus and pickup radius. But it's like I wouldn't use the legendary version of that because I want to get as much energy as possible, and you'd be sacrificing a little bit of that power in order to have more skills.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, though,
say for example.
On the flip side, you could have more skills.
I was gonna say, on the flip side, though, like say if you're on hardcore, maybe not inconceivable though, and say you want to throw on a little bit of shotgun damage, but I still want to make sure I'm effective on picking things up, that legendary can really come into play, and that's really where a meta's born.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, even if you do sacrifice sort of like your deposit bonus, your engineer, even if he hasn't unlocked those legendary cards, he's still got like, you know, the 50% deposit, 50% discount on decoys, fences, and whatever else. You know, it's not going to be a huge thing because if you remember, you know, before the Rise of the Horde update, it only went up to level 5, so it was only like 50% It was only like 50% anyway, or something like that. So it wouldn't make a huge amount of difference anyway, I don't think.
Yeah. And how would those legendary skill cards be earned? Like, would there be a specific way?
I don't know. That's one. So I've seen people discuss this on forums and Reddit and stuff before. And one thing someone brought up is like, well, they'd need to change the scrap system for scrapping or for creating cards, because if you want to get like a level 6 legendary and it costs 2,400 scrap per card.
Yeah, I think scrap is an extra currency that shouldn't exist. I don't think. I think it should just be credits, and that's how it is, and you could like pay for your character with credits and all that kind of thing. But since you're talking about like quirky legendary cards like that, like what if so we're talking about like, remember we were talking about like progress versus built-in microtransactions, stuff like that. What if all the stuff you get for your class that you earn is like all stuff you do on your own, but in gear packs that come out maybe like you know, monthly or whatever, there's these quirky like skill cards in it that you can pay for if you want, and it makes life easier, but maybe it's limited or something like that, or like, you know, kind of like Halo 5's Warzone, like the cards are expendable. You know what I mean? Like I mean, obviously microtransactions are touchy, but I think if it's like if it's like a novelty, if it's not something that affects, like if someone has poured $1,000 into gear packs and just has all of the god tier stuff and is just wrecking house in comparison to everyone, that's not fun. But like if it's something that's like, oh, I paid this thing that has a one-shot snub pistol or something like that I can use for like today or this week, or you know, for however long this event runs or something like that. I don't know.
Timed exclusive.
Yeah, timed exclusive.
I think I'd rather see something like, okay, I have Shotgun damage, I've used that enough. I've leveled it up to level 6. I have shotgun capacity. I've used that, gotten it up to level 6. So now that they're both at 6, I can say, okay, now I'm able to create this legendary version of that. And then I can use, and that's level 1, and then I can use that enough times to level that up. So it's like you can take some of your top tier cards and say, okay, I've gotten these top tier now. They create this legendary one for me.
I agree with Pete on the whole scrap thing. It should be
Scraps
usage and progressional rather than having to.
But the only reason I say that scrap shouldn't be there is because of how scarce it is, right? Like if it was easier to earn, like if there were, I think
I had 40,000 scrap earlier today.
Yeah, it happens though sometimes.
Yeah,
like when those 400 credit gear packs come out, you're constantly getting those duplicates when you're trying to get that legendary character. So that it happens sometimes where you just have a surplus of scrap. But when you're constantly crafting bounties so you can earn credits and stuff, that stuff eventually whittles down. But I think that like if there were like weekly rewards, to earn scrap as well. There could be scrap bounties and credit bounties that, like, I say bounties, but these should be separate from the bounty system. It should be like a weekly challenge that
people
is
have asked
set
for that since launch.
And
yeah,
I'm amazed that they haven't.
I remember that.
Yeah, I'm amazed they haven't put that in.
Did Gears ever have that? I don't think so.
But like, since launch, people.
I feel like they put out a tweet once where they said, like, if you do this, we'll give you this. I'm trying to recall. Games do that a lot. Like where they go, if you do this week, we'll give you something or something like that. I don't know if Gears has ever done that. Maybe skins, I don't know, but something like that would be really nice. Just kind of like community effort.
As far as I'm aware, the only thing they've sort of said, if you do this, we'll do this, is tune into the esports events and you can claim this Lancer, which is kind of annoying for people like me because I work nights, and when the esports are streamed, during the week, I don't want to be able to.
Right.
I can't watch it. I can't watch it. So because I've got virtually no.
Yeah, I get that. I think part of that is like I feel you on that is the old school attitude, right, of us. So like. You're probably someone who got all the pre-order stuff for Gears 2, Gears 3. Like, you feel like you were more of a completionist, right? Like, you wanted to own everything. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you can't be there at certain esports events to get Jeter's Lancer and things like that is a bit frustrating. But the point, I totally get why they do what they do. It's to make people who don't watch esports be like, holy shit, a skin that looks awesome. I'm going to go watch it. Like, it works. It gives them what they need, and I totally get it. But for people like me and you and everyone else who had every kind of limited edition of Gears of War 2 to get the Golden Lancer and Hammerburst and to get Adam Phoenix and Savage Cantus and Savage Grenadier, that Gears completionist in yourself wants to have everything. But in Gears 4, it's impossible to have everything.
My life became so much better when I gave up on trying to get everything.
Yeah, I gave up as well, and I part of me is like, I'm kind of like, shit, like I always loved having everything, but I totally get that it's fine to not have everything.
Yeah,
it's fine, it's totally fine.
It's
like,
not.
and that's something that I need.
Not.
Like, I know what you mean.
I've got pieces missing.
Yeah,
guys.
Right. If everything, if it was still as niche, if skins were still as niche as they were in past games, I'd be like, yeah, I'll totally go and pay maybe a bit more money than I should on eBay to get a pre-order character, But it's how it is. It's how it is. I think what's nice is that they do sometimes bring stuff back, like they brought Jeter's skin back again to get it. So like stuff does come back. Like I feel like they might redo some of the Phantom stuff and other things again, because sometimes people are pretty vocal about a particular thing that they didn't get, and there might be a lot of people who were like, hey, there was a problem, or I just wasn't around, or esports wasn't as big as it was then, so people are like, shit, I didn't get that opportunity because I wasn't watching that,
Yeah, it's that struggle of exclusivity that really ends up hitting hard.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, darn, I want to show off how I did this thing that's exclusive, but then when I don't have that other one, I really hate those people that have it, and I wish that I could have it.
Yeah, and the exclusivity thing, but at the same time, isn't it that like you don't? It's nice that you feel like you have something exclusive when everyone's running around with Phantom skins. It's kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, it waters it down a bit.
I'll rock something else. I'll rock something else, you know? Like, I personally rock the Acid Omen skin as much as I can because barely anybody has it.
Let's see. So wrapping that up and moving on to the last topic that I had planned, and that is fortifications. So obviously, all right, let's think in order here. We have fences, decoys, kinetic sentries, shock sentries, turrets, and weapon lockers. Is that it? Yeah. And then obviously the strikes.
That's sort of like the initial tier, unless you move on to the weapons. But
yeah,
you've got obviously sniper, hammer, mortar, team revive as well. That's the one rule that we have when we play an inconceivable game. At least 2 people have team revive. Don't care what level it is. Don't care what level it is, as long as you've got team revive.
It is nice to have.
That's.
So I don't know what point you're about to hit with these, but like this just entered my brain. Is like what if like when you're leveling up fortifications that they adopt a different trait, like not necessarily. Like I know that the fences turn into laser fences, but it's a visual thing. It doesn't really do anything. Like what if they had like maybe mini little turrets that kind of, if a juvie approaches it, will kind of like start damaging them before it approaches or something like that. You know, just kind of a grander evolution of the fortification rather than it just being a fence.
Fences,
you know?
The fences are a good one because like they start out as just people can pass through them and they take damage, and then they get to the laser type where it's the enemies can't pass through them. They just keep bouncing off
except
of it.
Except for Scions for some reason. It's the DR. Is it the DR1 Protector?
I'm not sure.
There's one of the DR1s when it goes into a rage mode, it just runs right through the fence. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
The one with the tri-shot, I think. I forget what I call it.
Or even just the one with the overkill. I think all of the DR1s can, when you shoot them and they turn to that rage mode, they run through the fence no matter what. It's weird.
But like that's a cool mechanic, the way the fence kind of changes its base mechanic of what it does, and it would be cool to see that on some of the other fortifications as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I say bring back the Onyx Guard decoy from Gears 3.
That was a cool decoy.
Yeah, I wanted to see that, like deploying other troops around the map, and maybe you could say point them to sit in a certain place, and like cool. Maybe they could spot stuff, and it's all about making Horde more diverse, I guess.
Yeah.
I think like the flavor. I think the word that keeps coming around is just variety. Just a bigger variety of things that we could deploy, bigger variety of classes, everything like that. I've always thought of just like the wall would be one great start for me. Just
deployable cover is something that any like big Horde player has always been. If they add one more thing, I want some deployable cover of some sort. But like, what other fortification types would you guys like to see? Like new things.
I think. Go on.
Oh,
like what I mentioned with the engineer earlier, where you could place stuff like turrets up on top, instead of just plonking something on the ground in front of you, make it more, maybe put something on the wall,
a wall-mounted turret,
like Fortnite, right? Like kind of like you could put stuff in play, like maybe have a trap that falls down or something when they enter a room that you can place somewhere.
Be cool.
Stuff like that,
And having more stuff based off of classes would be really cool, like or where you were having the idea of like maybe calling a sniper or something like that. Maybe that'd be a soldier exclusive. Heavies, I mean, you have mortar strikes, but like they would actually be fortifications you can put out instead of this is a one-time event, and also the mortar strike misses a lot, and I don't like that. But
like we thought, my team thought about what about engineers have a strike where it drops like 3 level 4 turrets, or not turrets, sentries on the map, and they'll start killing stuff. If you're able to get to one of them before it gets destroyed, it's yours. You keep it.
Could be interesting. I could get behind that. I'd run out there, turn them round, and leave them, and get destroyed. Get them farmed.
Yeah.
But I've even thought like there's that time factor with the engineer where it's like I have to repair everything, and that's where you get stuck. And I've just died a lot just because I'm like I have to get repairing. I have no choice. Having an ability to just repair all would be a nice one to have. And given if a lot of your stuff's about to get destroyed, I mean, it would cost a ton. But if you got a ton, you can make it work.
I'd love
a level card for that. So you have a level 1, it costs you a certain amount to repair everything.
It costs you like 102% to repair everything. So it costs you like that 2% extra.
Yeah.
But you can use that. That would be nice.
But then again, well, again, for me, what we tend to do is, if the engineer's doing what he's doing and we're not really doing anything, we tend to just buy a repair tool and we'll like repair the weapons lockers, or maybe give one of the fences a little touch up, or see how many people can kill a pouncer with a repair tool, see how long it takes, because we've got nothing better to do.
Yep.
There's always time to kill an enemy with the repair tool. It's not a horde game.
Yeah. It's like I feel like there's a lot more.
You put a cool shot on a swarm drone and walk up to it with the repair tool. It doesn't take that long.
I just feel there's so many more fortifications they could potentially add. I don't know what they would be. Like deployable cover is the main one that comes to my mind, but I feel there's
deployable cover would be a
scout.
Right.
Would be what?
Shield?
Well, the Silence have a boom shield
or
on,
a boom
on their back, so you kill them.
Why didn't they drop one? Yeah, I thought that. Like, why is the boom shield design in the game if
they're not using
can't use it?
Probably because how glitchy it was in the previous games.
Yeah, because it was used to breach and stuff, and that's not something they wanted to worry about.
I know what it is. I know what it is. All the lost boom shields in Gears 2 and Gears 3 that glitched out have actually glitched onto these enemies. That's basically what it is.
God, do you remember playing a Guardian on Subway on Gears 2?
Yep.
Do you guys remember that?
Guardian on any map?
Putting the shield down on the stairs and just under the map.
I think I knew how to get out of. I think I knew how to get out of every map in Gears 2, and I only did it if I had to go kill the Guardian.
But that's exactly how it always was in old Gears games. Like I would only kung fu flip out of the map if I had to chase some dickhead who kung fu flipped out in the first place, and it was always it was always Gridlock and Fuel Depot. It was always the fence spawn and Fuel Depot, and it was always like the cog spawn on Gridlock that people would like jump out and hide in the bushes and stuff. But yeah, I as bad as that is in terms of like having to experience that in a multiplayer game, those are some of like the most fun memories I have in Gears. Is like chasing people for glitching.
There was a good one getting out of map on Tire Station. I remember that was like you just had to keep Rhodey running along one piece of cover, and you would just ride the rail.
Yep.
Yeah.
You get on top of the cover.
I did all, dude. I was God, there was like a whole community around glitching. Like those. Speaking of like being a content creator, like those videos back in the day used to explode. There's actually like a community of people called Exploit Theory on YouTube who they do all kind. They used to be, I think they used to go by Chaotic Perfection. That's what they used to go by. But there's like this group of them that branched off from that are now called Exploit Theory, and they used to they do all the Gears 4 stuff now, but those don't get as many views as like the kung flip and all that kind of crab walk that Gears 1 did. It's really weird. Like I think glitches aren't in people's heads as much as it was. Like I remember like back in the day, glitches were like totally a part of how online multiplayer worked. Like in Call of Duty 4, you could like
the banhammers are stronger now.
Stuff like that, but a lot of developers just have their map boundaries solid. There's just no ways of getting out anymore. Really, it's very rare you see it, and when you do, the way games work now with dedicated servers, it just takes a patch like that to get it fixed. So like it's not like it's prolonged.
Did anybody experiment with the flame glitch in Gears 3 Horde?
Flame glitch.
Okay, basically this was a Horde glitch. Basically, if you ever got berserkers, what you did is you placed flames in certain parts on the map, and you got the berserker to walk through it. And what that would do is, when the enemies would start coming, the enemies would bypass where the berserker walked through. So you could essentially create a path for the Horde to come, so you could maximize your downing and your spotting for your high scores. You could also do it with Ink and Scorcher if you wanted. We did try it with Smoke. It didn't work, and obviously, you could freeze a berserker on the stairs or up against a wall. That was always pretty cool. You know, I think one time on Raven Down, everyone was dead, and I had 2 berserkers just glitched on the wall. I was sort of like standing right in the middle, 2 berserkers either side of me, waiting for the person to come back from a toilet break so he could spawn back in and take one of them. You know, but that was always pretty cool. So, can't believe you guys don't know about that.
No, I was never an in-depth Horde Gears 3 player. I don't know why.
Me neither.
I think there was no incentive. I think like the incentive for Gears 4 is credits and the fact that you need to get gear packs. Like that's the thing that just makes anybody want to play it. Like with Horde mode 2.0, the reason I played it in the beginning was like, oh, holy shit, a Brumac that I can face with my friends and all these different varieties of pieces. But then after about a while of playing that novelty fades off, and it's just not as unique an experience anymore. If Epic had have deployed like challenges to do each week or something like that would have given me a reason to hop on and do it. But like they're just like games are games that are addicting for a reason, but that can only take you so far. Like there needs to be a goal. You know what I mean? Like when you beat 1 to 50, what do you get when you're already max level in Gears 3?
Yeah.
Nothing.
You get a woohoo.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I got
I
a high
think
score.
something that would be kind of interesting as well is like if all 4 of us got together and we each tried to play like the other's style of playing Horde. I think that makes some pretty interesting viewing. So obviously, B-Chaps, with his sentries and just hiding behind a 20 sentry wall or something, or play my style where it's literally fences, decoys, and weapons lockers. And see how far we can all get, and anybody else's difference. I think that'd be really, really quite interesting to do. And if whoever could stream it should stream it.
I find it kind of disappointing that we need to go to something like that in order to get that replay value in Horde, though.
Right.
I think that's something.
What do you mean? Go to what exactly?
Go to like, hey, we're going to try playing with no with no fortifications
versus
artificial
we're
challenges.
making the game harder for ourselves to create create an experience. I get what you mean. It's not it. I think Horde has that potential to be like that kind of that thing that people just want to dive into because they want to progress in the game.
Right. Which nothing wrong with artificial. It's just when it's dictating is when it becomes the problem. Like for instance, there's always like the really good aspects of like speed running outside of Gears. Like talking other games, that's always a really cool aspect to go with. I mean, HDQ I think is still going on for speed running at the moment. But if they add in a lot more challenges, a lot more incentives, and make it so like the upgrades and the rewards you get are actually very beneficial. At a point like for me, I've kind of in some ways, I've almost given up on Berserker trying to unlock that. Given now that we have this patch, things are changing. But like, I'm hitting that point now where I'm just kind of playing it to play it with friends. At this point,
what packs are you buying, by the way?
I've been throwing them down on. I mean, I've just been throwing down on Epic packs to craft at the moment. That's where I was like, maybe I should just go back to Horde boosters, but that's garbage scrap. It's like it's so bad.
It may be garbage scrap, but I think that's predominantly that's where I got all mine from.
Yeah,
I literally just
Horde boosters actually have the highest scrap per credit rate.
Really? Okay.
Really? Okay.
Yep. It may not seem that way, but for 400 credits, I reckon if you buy Horde boosters, I reckon you'll get it pretty quickly.
I've got a nice Excel sheet for all that stuff.
I never get Horde boosters though.
But you'll have to send me that. You'll have to send me that.
I never get Horde boosters though because I'm constantly scratching for like the monthly gear packs.
Yep.
That too.
Yeah.
But what's nice is when those monthly gear packs do have Horde abilities inside them. I appreciate that so much. I'm like, yes, thank God I can actually make some progress on my Horde stuff instead of just having to, throw whatever minuscule amount of scrap I have.
Yep.
All right.
Cool. All right. That wrapped up the main topics I wanted to cover. Pete, I think you had something you want to talk about.
Yeah, so I was talking about, I kind of mentioned it earlier, like, will Gears or will the coalition build on what the foundation that Gears 4 has laid down with Horde mode, or will it become something broader?